What's going on, T-Warriors? Mr. Waffles here, and we're here with second place TJ the Savage. We don't know how to pronounce your last name, but let's see.
So it's TJ Corcoran. I could be anonymous like the other Tommy, but I'll put my name out there.
How do you say his last name?
Well, I know your name is said Blogger. Is that correct?
Whoa!
Mark Blogger is not happy about it.
Come on, Mark Blogger. Oh, man. All right. So, again, we're here with second place TJ the Savage, and he's running Black Devious Cooler. So,
I'm 13.
I'm sorry, 13. We're just talking about
Four
Cooler.
subs.
Now, before, I think...
Were your sheets really wet? Then it wouldn't have been a night?
So before the event, I know you also had a Devious Broly you were working on. So
right.
Why the switch from Broly to 13?
I don't have digs.
Oh.
No, so I just tried to beat the Broly speed anger type of thing. It didn't really work out. It needs to be like the way Tim Sweeney had it built and the way Jason Burrow won with it in California. Just with the digs, and even though you gain levels, you win by beatdown.
Yeah.
So that's the better way to play it. And without the digs, it's not worth playing.
Not worth playing. Okay, cool. So I know you've been playing this deck since pretty much the new set got released, you know, so, you know, what kind of, like, gravitated you towards 13 specifically? And specifically Black as opposed to, like, the other styles?
I mean, it was just kind of lucky. I started playtesting with Mark and our other friend Jake when the set came out, and I had all these decks, and you know, like, when your friends pat you on the head and like, oh, no, that deck's good, it just needs a little bit of work. That means the deck sucks and you shouldn't bring it to a regional. So I had all these other decks I was throwing in the garbage, and then I played this Black 13 against Saiyan Broly a couple times, and I destroyed it.
Yeah.
And so when that happened and my friends were really salty about it, I realized that I had to play Devious 13 at that first regional, and I just stuck with it ever since.
Yeah, nice. So let's get on to the deck, because I know you're running some cards out a lot of Devious 13 players, or playing like Jamal and Kurt and probably some other people.
Yeah,
so.
well, I feel like there's two different versions of the deck. Well, really three, actually. There's Jamal and Kurt have a very control-oriented build where you'll use the level 2 power to advance.
Yeah.
And so I'm not doing that. I play a speed anger version where I always want to leave MPPV open if possible. But there's also a third version, which is what I think everyone's doing wrong, is you do half and half and do it in between. And that's why you haven't seen Devious 13 at the top of the meta.
Yeah,
because
it's sticking to a one core kind of theme.
Exactly. Yeah, if you don't have a dedicated theme for the deck, it's not going to work.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, let's get into the deck. So.
Okay, cool.
So start off with the physicals.
Physicals. All right, I guess we got some of the freestyle ones here. So we've got Sagacious Strike. Anytime you want to play a villain anger deck, you need to get out a wall breaker. People still play it, as you'll see right here. I play 3 of them.
Yeah.
So I mean, so it's kind of two sides of the same coin, right? It's people are going to try to control your anger with this, and you're going to do the same.
Yeah.
So that's why you have Sagacious Strike. But also the crits come in handy. We're in an ally meta. Some people are still playing ball decks, so the utility of the card is always good. And an underrated factor with this deck is I get to the level 4 a lot. So with a level 4 Android 13, you can create that skip when the attacks hit, and you could chain, you know, 3 or 4 actions in a row and win a game off of that.
Yeah. So I guess that's why you kind of maximize on the wall breakers as well.
Well, the real reason I did it is because in the New York Regional at Top Cut, I lost to Namekian Piccolo, and I was pretty salty about that. So I figured the only way to beat Namekian Piccolo is wall breaker.
Yeah,
so I went from running 0 because I was afraid of Unleash to 3. I said, you know what, I don't care about Unleash anymore. I'm just not going to lose to Namekian Piccolo ever again.
Yeah,
and I haven't, so.
It worked out. Sweet.
So, okay, so more freestyles. Android Headbutt. This is a card that I think a lot of people are down on right now, but I really like it. And I'll explain a little bit more why I play this, but I just love it. Since on the level 4, I could advance from 3 to 4 with this and then get the skip on it. It's really incredible. I could generate 2 crits because in Black I have the modifier. And it's a 2 anger card on level 1. I just think it has so much versatility. I'm kind of surprised that more people don't play it in the 13 builds.
Yeah. See, why not, right?
Yeah, exactly.
There's so much for pretty much every level except maybe 2. But like,
yeah, 2 it's pretty weak. You could possibly rejuvenate 1 if it falls and vanish.
Yeah.
But I can see right there. It's not a lot of value.
Yeah, but for the most part, it's everything good otherwise.
Yeah. So more freestyles. The last one is Android Insubordination, and again on all of these ones I play 3 of them, and it really speaks for itself. Android Insubordination is way to close, except it can attack. So
yeah, it's better. It's like, well, I'm not gonna lose a pickle anymore, and I have a better way to close than you, so you can suck it.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And it gives you a little bit of board hate, which sometimes black is in desperate need of.
Yeah.
So even though it only hits non-style, that still occasionally comes in handy. You can hit, Visiting the Past, Villainous Visage, Dragon Radar, things like that.
Yeah, which are really deadly too.
Yeah. Okay, so that should do it for the freestyle attacks here. So I run a lot of style physicals that gain anger. So we'll start with Black Backstrike, another one that people.
So tell us about this. No one, I don't think I've seen anyone really play this in 13 at all.
Yeah.
You didn't even have it in your first draft when you played in New York.
No, I don't think I did actually. I didn't add it in until I played it. Exactly, I am a scrub for not playing it. The card's amazing. To have another thing that turns off prevention, we all know the power of cards like Dig. So to have a card that does that, gives you anger, acts as an Android name card, which is going to fuel your level 1 and your level 4 powers, and possibly even your level 2 Rejuve if it happens to end up there.
Yeah.
It just gives you so much versatility. And
Yeah, and it's huge damage, especially when you tack on the Devious Mastery plus Android 14.
Exactly. With the modifiers, this could really be a death blow in certain games, and it'll win you the whole game by itself.
Yeah.
But again, only 2 just because it ends up being a little vanilla, and once you're off of level 1, it is only 1 anger, and you want to try to gain 2 anger in this deck as much as possible.
It's really just like that jump start that you might need.
Yeah.
I can see that. Sweet.
So what else? Defensive Burst, really obvious staple at this point.
Wow, you played Defensive Burst? This card sucks.
Yeah, I agree. I'm just going to throw that. It's okay. Yeah,
it gets blocked. It's like...
yeah, I don't know. Some people play Broly, so I heard that was good.
Oh, okay.
I net decked it. So Black Shin Kick. Basically, the only way you can beat ally decks with the Devious 13 is if you play Shin Kick.
Yeah.
So early on, my meta call was just to not play it and try to avoid the ally decks, and that worked in the New York regional before the meta was, I guess, solved. But as you see, like Ginyu coming back, Gohan coming back in full force, and then other decks throwing more allies in. We've even seen Broly builds that play allies nowadays. So Shin Kick is extremely necessary, and the fact that it raises anger means it actually fits the theme of the deck. So you can get away with playing it even in non-ally matchups.
Now, even though it shuts off your own allies as well, you don't really care so much because, like, shutting off your 20 or your 15 or your 14.
Right. Well, the thing is that 15 is going to take place out of combat, so he's a blank in combat anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
20, it depends on the situation. Shutting off 20 could actually help you if you're on the ropes. If you need to play defensively, you can turn off your own 20 so they can't mill you out or drain your stages.
Yeah.
So, but it can be tricky. It depends. If you're ahead and you have your allies out, you might not want to use the Shin Kick. You might want to discard it to the Mastery.
Yeah.
But otherwise, you can still get away with it. And if you have to give up a stage buff of 14, then sometimes so be it.
Yeah, and you have the stage buff of the Mastery anyway, so it's not like you're losing too much out of it.
Exactly. It's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
So,
it's going to hurt your opponent more than it really hurts you.
Yeah, exactly. It's a worthy trade-off to win some games you otherwise normally could not win at all. You wouldn't even have a prayer.
Yeah.
So the real theme of the deck is using 2 anger cards.
Yep.
So Black Combo, Black Dash, and also Black Hug Maneuver.
Yeah, so I don't see anyone really running Hug Maneuvers either.
Yeah, well, when you run a deck this extreme, you just have to totally go for it. You can't hedge with the deck.
Yeah.
Because every anger you leave on the table is one that you might need to MPPV.
Yeah.
So if, you don't get a prize for getting to 4 with 4 anger. You have to get to 5.
Yeah.
So that's why I run it. And also 2 endurance. I'm pretty light on endurance in this deck, so anytime I can find endurance, it really does help.
Yeah. And to know that it actually can be a pretty beefy attack too, like oddly enough, you get so much value out of it.
Yeah, in this deck, if you could advance to a higher level and then you're swinging from E or even F bracket, it makes sense in this deck. You can get away with the damage output.
Yeah. So let's move on to the energies. It's crazy because looking at the cards, you would think like you said, a lot of people are just kind of going like really like techie, like kind of half and half, and you're just like, I'm just gonna get 2 anger, whatever, It's just like, and the best part about MPPV goes is like whether your opponent times or even if they use time, you can still throw them out there and just get value out of it. Which is really good.
Exactly, yeah. Sometimes you do it just for the anger, and sometimes you do it just for the damage. And then the times where both of those are working in your favor, you're going to dominate the game.
Yeah.
So it's so much fun to play when that happens.
Yeah. Now for the energies.
So Overpowering Attack. I like this more than Sobering Hammer because I'll bring out my ally package now.
Yeah.
Just to explain why I do this.
Yeah.
Is because 14 is obvious, 15 is obvious, and I also play Android 20. So when you pull out Android 20 with Overpowering Attack, that gives you so many options.
Yeah.
That allows you to steal Dragon Balls when you normally couldn't. It gives you another out for Wall Breaker.
Yeah.
And it gives you off-type damage. If you're running all physicals, then you can be shut off by a defensive burst or by them holding the physical block.
Yeah.
But when you have the Overpowering Attack, it gives you this extra wrinkle where you can win some combats that you otherwise normally couldn't.
Yeah, I agree. And the fact that now, like, if they have to choose between 20 or like 14,
Right.
you know, sorry, 15, you know, getting free anger outside of combat, you know, it's just like, which one do I want? And 20 can really be like super deadly, as you know. Like, prevention is anti-prevention is really good in this game.
Yeah, absolutely. So I mean, so some people talk about the downsides of both of these cards. I feel like a lot of people are playing Sobering Hammer over this, and I don't really like that.
Yeah.
Because Sobering Hammer, it's just
Doesn't push very much.
yeah. I mean, you don't really get the physical damage in this deck until you get to 3 or 4, but you could always find a spot for an unpreventable Overpowering Attack.
Yeah. It's never going to be a bad time where, you know, getting 20 out to do 6 free life, you know, is ever really a bad thing. Not to mention it's like another card that you don't have to worry about deep, you know.
Yeah, I feel like Sobering Hammer in a lot of situations is a win more card in this deck.
Yeah.
Like, all right, if I'm already winning and then it hits and then I can shut off Unleashed, it seems like too many perfect things have to happen.
Yeah.
And also, if you think about it, Overpowering Attack gives you more stages than Sobering Hammer.
Yeah.
It costs 2 but gives you 5, so that's
Yeah.
a net 3, right?
Yeah.
Sobering Hammer costs 0, only gives you 1, so it's a net 1.
Yeah.
So I feel like Overpowering Attack, if you have the 2 stages initially, is even better against the physical meta.
Yeah.
So that's another reason why I like it. So that's why I play Overpowering Attack. And the other energy attack I play in the deck is Black Swirl. So I've gone back and forth on the spot a lot. The reason why I went with Black Swirl over Black Overhead Burst is just for the tech option. I don't run Sphere because I don't want to hold a Sphere in this deck.
Yeah.
Like I usually want to hold something that'll either give me anger or in rare situations I can hold a block. So holding a Sphere in this deck doesn't make a lot of sense. But if you hold a Swirl, you can accomplish a lot of the same goals.
Yeah.
You can turn off time, you can turn off stare down, and you can turn off the block that they want.
Yeah.
So it would, in a lot of cases, it'll be an event block in this meta, whether it's Saiyan Outrage or Blue Shifting Maneuver.
Yeah.
So the same things you would use a Sphere to stop, you can use Black Swirl, and then you can push damage, possibly unpreventable damage for 20, and gain 2 anger.
Yeah.
So it just seems more suited to the win condition than to
Exactly.
play a Sphere or any other type of tech like that.
Especially you don't have to really worry about VTPs too much, especially if you're trying to go for stuff.
Exactly. You can play around or even play into VTP.
Yeah.
If you're holding the Swirl, or if they lead into you and you have a VTP on the table, if they don't realize you have Swirl into this card, that can ruin the whole combat.
Yeah.
But it doesn't always come up. It could be a 2-of. That could possibly be a card to change if you had another good idea.
Yeah.
But I like it in the deck. I feel like it's an improvement from things I played before.
Yeah, I agree. And again, like you said, like 2 anger is always welcome too if it hits. Like it's just more icing on the cake.
Right, definitely, for sure.
There's another thing again to avoid that deep burst, you know, if you ever get locked into that.
Okay, so what else? So blocks now. So Impenetrable defense speaks for itself. It's really the entire deck.
Yeah.
You start off by triggering Android 14 in most games and getting that 3 anger play, getting an anger for the Android coming into play, and then 2 anger for banishing the Impenetrable defense. So, and it gives you cheap wins at the end in the same way that Wheel of Revival used to.
Yeah.
You just flip it over and get 2 anger. So games that could be lost, you end up winning by MPPV in the end because they have to damage the last Impenetrables out of your deck.
Yeah. So.
And the thing with this deck that's really cool is that you use the level 2 and you always try to target an Impenetrable to rejuve if possible.
Yeah.
And typically your opponent will let that hit because it only comes in for usually 4 stages.
Yeah.
So this represents more than 2 anger in many games.
Yeah.
Sometimes even though it's 6 anger here, you might have 8 or 10 anger coming from Impenetrable defenses in a single game.
Yeah. Skipping these. Really sick.
And then the other physical block I run is Knee Catch. Endurance gains 2 anger.
Yeah.
Pretty simple, very straightforward.
Yeah.
I mean, I've thought about having another spot for another physical block. I've played around with delay and stop, but in the end, I just really want to streamline the deck and play very aggressively.
Yeah.
And another thing with this deck is that sometimes you want to take damage. You want to have cards fall out of your deck to flip over the Impenetrables.
Yeah.
So going light on blocks is a pretty good idea in my mind. And I've cut down from a more normal suite of blocks to a thinner suite of blocks, just trying to take some damage sometimes.
Yeah. I hear you because like I know delay is good. We all know like that card's really good this meta. But like it's more a card that's just like kind of like not so much aiding your condition of victory. It's just kind of like delaying literally like the inevitable. It's just like okay, it's like it's cute, but at least like that 2 anger can either help you win the game or give you stages to level up or something like that. It can just do a lot more than
Yeah,
trying
I
to
mean,
knock
Delay is
out.
an amazing card in this meta, but it just doesn't fit the deck right now.
Yeah.
And that's what's most important is you have to play 60 cards that help you win,
Yeah.
rather than just playing 60 good cards.
Yeah.
So for the energy blocks, 2 corruptions and 2 resistance. The idea behind them, besides gaining anger, is that corruption gives you one of your only outs against a ball deck if you can banish a ball off the top. So you have to play at least a couple of them. And then resistance is just for the endurance bomb on it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the deck is very thin on endurance without this. This gets it to at least an okay level, where you won't get crit like every single time you get hit by a 5 life card attack.
Yeah. And they both give you anger, so.
Exactly. So it fits right in.
Yeah.
And if you don't need it, it gives you fodder to pitch to the mastery, so it's
So
fine.
it's never
So, and the most important block is always time.
Yeah.
It's even better now that people are running Sphere less often and are playing more aggressive decks where they want to string together 5 or 6 attacks in a combat.
Yeah.
So time, we already know it's one of the best cards in the game, and it's only gained value in the Vengeance meta. So now we're into events. Time obviously was an event. So 1, Overwhelming Power.
What? Yeah, no one's definitely playing that.
So it's
Oh my gosh, it's first place and second place all in one. So my computer's gonna explode.
I think it just came over to make fun of me.
Bologna.
So yeah, that video's ruined. Wait, check it for part 2, guys. See you later.
Commands are coming up.
Oh. So Overwhelming Power. So Black doesn't have any great hate for styled setups. So to get around things like power-ups, and now that Red Cooler is so popular, you have to deal with blazes, and destinies, or relaxations if they don't use them right away.
Yeah.
Like, so this gives you one of your only options. And then to get the critical effect out of the discard is just an added bonus. But also it fits especially well in this deck because it's a named card.
Mm-hmm.
So as an Android card, you can gain anger on level 1 by using it.
Yeah.
You can have an extra Android card in the discard for level 4. If it gets banished, you rejuvenate to level 2.
Yep.
So you have all these different ways to utilize it beyond the effects. And
Yeah.
since 13 is pretty beefy power levels, you could almost always trigger this.
Yeah.
And the decks you want triggered against, like a deck like Black or Red Roshi, you'll always be ahead. So this is always going to be a live card.
Yeah, I agree. And you can also discard it for the mastery, right?
Yeah, sure.
For the actual like.
Yeah, because it's styled
style too, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So matches that you don't really want to see it maybe against the Broly, you can just pitch
Right.
a card. You know, for sure. I like that a lot. Yeah, I mean, like the fact that you played VTPs as well, so you can VTP for it. And,
yeah, I don't know if we got to the setups, but I do play VTP.
Yeah.
So, but we'll get through the rest of the events. But yeah, I play VTPs in the deck.
Yeah.
So that makes the crit live. It definitely came in handy a few times in the regional for sure.
Yeah. Free stuff's always good, whether it be crits or blowing up stuff.
Right.
And
So-
then you did that instead of ball 4 because you figured like, you know, what was your reasoning behind it?
Well, the reasoning behind that is basically that I want to be active in combat. If I'm the person who's entering, then ball 4 doesn't help me because I don't want to enter as much with the ball 4.
Yeah.
But I don't know why that is. I guess because I have the versatility with Overwhelming Power of not throwing it.
Yeah.
Like ball 4, you have to put it on the board. Overwhelming Power, you could decide if you want to play it or if you don't, or if you just
more
want to pitch it
options
to the master.
better. Yeah.
And just also the fact that you can recur it. Once you play ball 4 in this deck, it's gone.
Yeah, you're not running declarations to shuffle it back. Right?
Exactly. So Overwhelming Power, you could get up to 3 uses out of it.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess possibly more if you run some really cheesy octagon combos and it gets banished and then level 2 brings it back. But,
Yeah.
but if you could really, you could expect to get 1 in most games. If you use it twice, that's just gravy.
Yeah.
So, but the fact that you can use it more than once is a big deciding
And
factor.
especially as a one-of, it might as well.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, for the events, you have 3 Scott Dashi.
Yep.
Nice. Scott Dashi's just in a world of darkness. I'm trying to find his soul.
Yeah.
Poor Dashi. I don't know. He tried. And command's pretty much self-explanatory, right? You know, you never really use it for the actual effect, I assume. I mean, just,
No, you never find a good spot to use it for the effect.
Yeah.
If you use it that early in the game where they have no discard, it seems like a waste.
Yeah.
And I don't play nearly enough banish to make it live at the end of the game where you
Yeah.
can mill them out. So no, everyone just shuffles it.
yeah.
And if you're any good at the game, you shuffle 2 or 3 at once.
Yeah, like, yeah. Get good, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So then, Stare Down, again, kind of speaks for itself. So in this deck, obviously it's either taking out their best block or when you're on the defensive, taking away their best attack. I'm not breaking any new ground here. Stare Down is just such an incredible card.
Yeah. especially or if you want to, like you said, go off,
Yeah.
you just see, even if they have like you're going on the offensive and like okay, like just take away maybe sometimes even their best attacks and then just like you can hit them, they can hit you with stupid stuff and then you just bring out your 20 and then start just demolishing them.
Exactly. And also it combos really well with Swirl, which is obviously a known combo, but the fact that I played in this deck gives it more value than even it has already.
And then just a 1-for-1.
Yeah, absolutely. So and then we're down to the setups. I only play 5 setups, play 2 Viz in the Past, 3 Power Up. So again, visiting the past, not breaking any new ground. You can have the Q combo with overwhelming power, that helps, but honestly, it's just to have that card advantage. That's really all there is to it.
Yeah.
And power up in this deck is so broken, I think, because when you can combine that with a level 3 power, you could get 2 actions and then end combat. You could end a combat and then have it come back to you for 2 actions.
Yeah.
So, and obviously the stage gain is so important against Broly's, opposing 13s, decks of that nature, any other deck that has a stage beatdown emphasis.
Yeah.
And ending combat, even against some of these energy beats decks that can really string actions together, or anger decks that will go off with, let's say, a red shoulder grab. If you could stop that dead in its tracks, that's so valuable. So, but again, I'm not saying anything new. It's just another broken card.
Sweet. So, I mean, I know you've been trying so hard to get into, get your Worlds invite, and you've always been topping almost every event that you played in, and you finally got it. So, how does that feel, like to finally? And again, you didn't play like a scrub. You played a really good opponent in top 4. So
yeah, I mean, it was so gratifying, I think, to work on one deck throughout the entirety of the regional season and continue to improve with it, going from top 16 in New York to top 8 at the Energy Nationals in Philadelphia to going to top 2 in New Hampshire and winning the invite finally. It was just so awesome, and it really shows that hard work can pay off in this game.
Yeah, being a good player as well, and not to mention the fact that you kind of assess like, okay, what didn't really work and how can I improve on it. Not to say like, okay, this deck sucks because I lost to this, but just to kind of keep grinding it. So.
Yeah, a lot of times when you make a deck at first, the shell is really good. The theme of the deck works, but figuring out the tech options and the extra cards on the outside, figuring out the first 50 cards is easy. The last 10 is always the difficult part.
Yeah, for sure. Now, I mean, and the fact that the Masters are getting frozen in November, so and you got your invite. So are you pretty much like selling this deck, or are you gonna probably just toy around with some stuff?
No, I'm just gonna quit the game. There's gonna be a black chair at Worlds where I said here lies TJ, the guy who could only play Black Devious.
Rip. Rest in peace, for sure. So you're excited about going to Worlds, obviously, and now anything from Awakening that got you like your ears ringing and like school?
I love Retribution Mastery. Anything with the 2 anger button, I just like to play anger, so I'll just go press, 2 anger. 2 anger. I mean, if it wasn't Devious, I'd be playing something restored. So Retribution to me is kind of similar that way.
Yeah, and so far we didn't really have all the personalities, but so far your thoughts on like Hercule, Vegeta, and Goku?
Wow. Hercule was so interesting. I think it's going to take a long time to actually solve him and make a good Hercule deck. Yeah. Vegeta, I think, is underrated. I feel like there's a really good Vegeta control deck out there. Maybe we don't have the Mastery yet. We'll see what happens with the new Saiyan Mastery coming out on Friday from when we're recording this.
Yeah.
And I kind of feel like Goku's a little overrated. It seems very vanilla. It'll probably win the first regional because it's just pick up and play, get card advantage, do extra damage. Yeah. But I don't know if there's a good Goku idea that's come out yet beyond just, playing him in Resolute and doing more damage. And I'm not too excited about that.
Yeah. You want to have like a lot of options like this deck right here, like any situation you can gotta pick and choose what you want to do. So
yeah, I don't know. It depends. Maybe Blue will get the tools with future spoilers for Awakening.
Yeah,
we don't know
still have a lot of stuff to see. So I guess we'll kind of make that verdict once the whole set's
absolutely
released, for sure. So again, good luck. At Worlds. I'm just happy that 2 of the guys from just locals, took it, 1 and 2, I'm just really excited.
Yeah, TJ and Freddie Mercury, it's been amazing.
or Magnum PI or whatever, It's more of a Freddie Mercury though, yeah, for sure. Hope you get that a lot. Sure. So, and so you guys have it again, everyone. This is TJ's Devious 13, second place, and that's pretty much it. So until next time, Z Warriors, Mr. Waffles out.